I think, Michael, that the bird in the hand for an NFL coach, you got one of those 32 jobs, and that owner wants to keep you. And I think that if you stick your finger in that owner's eye, the other owners might not be as inclined. And there's a subtle whiff, not so subtle. It's more of a stink. It's an odor. It's an aroma. It's just hovering of collusion when it comes to coaches. What they're paid, how their pay has increased relative to how player pay has increased percentage-wise over the last 50 years. We don't have access to the numbers because nobody knows how much coaches make, but I think the growth, just the sense is the growth for coaches far slower than the growth for players. When you consider what a great coach makes versus what a mid-level veteran quarterback makes, which is about the same, if not more, for the veteran mid-level quarterback, there's some weird stuff going on there. And I think that a coach doesn't want to put himself in a position where he's biting the hand that feeds him because the other 31 hands are basically the exact same.
It's an excellent point, Mike. And these coaches are paying attention. Like just a couple of weeks ago, we thought that the leading candidate, the front runner for MVP in the NFL, this is just a few weeks ago, before Saquon Barkley went off, it was Lamar Jackson. So that would have been 3 MVPs for Lamar Jackson. He still may win it, but 3 MVPs before the age of 30. And you'd say, imagine, I'd love for us to get a quarterback. It's the most important position in football. Our team needs a quarterback. There are half dozen teams that say that, if not more, right now. We'd love more, like a dozen teams. We'd love a franchise quarterback. That guy was available for anybody to even talk to. And nobody talked to him. So you can call it collusion. You can call it just an unspoken way of doing business, whatever it is. Nobody talked to, at that point, a 2-time MVP quarterback under the age of 30 who was available to be talked to. And so I think the coaches look around and say, well, they're going to do that to a franchise quarterback. What would they do to me? That's one. And then two, this tells you, if you're a player in the locker room and you're looking at these dynamics for players like you look at coaches. Coaches never do that. Coaches never go to the market. Coaches are never tagged or anything like that. So what do you say as a player? Coaches are part of management. They're not like us. They're part of management. And because they know they're part of management, they won't challenge it. They're part of the ownership structure for 3 to 5 year windows until the owners move on to somebody else. So nobody is going to upset that system because they're afraid that they won't get back on they won't get back on the merry-go-round, and they're terrified of that.
One of my all-time favorite movies, A Few Good Men, the question of whether or not Colonel Nathan Jessup ordered the code red, expressly ordered it, and he eventually caved under withering cross-examination. You're damn right I did! There's no code red to be ordered. There's no code red to be ordered because the collusion is so baked in. You don't need a maestro doing this. You don't have to do that. The orchestra knows what to do and what not to do. They know when they're, except for Jimmy Haslam when he decided to give a $230 million fully guaranteed contract to Deshaun Watson, and they got pissed at him because of it. The orchestra generally knows how to hit the notes. So there is no paper trail created. They meet 4 times a year. The owners meet. The owners of 32 independent businesses that are supposedly in competition when it comes to performance on the field meet 4 times a year to compare notes. D. Smith, the former NFLPA executive director, called them collusion meetings. They were. You don't need a code red. Everybody knows the code red is implied, so good luck ever proving it. And I mention that for one important reason, then I'll shut up. There is a collusion case that both sides, league and union, are awaiting the result, and it's supposed to come in December, flowing from the refusal to give guaranteed contracts to certain players, specifically quarterbacks, and Lamar Jackson is one of the ones. Fully guaranteed contract, he didn't get it. Russell Wilson, I think, is one of the ones. When he got his contract with Denver, it wasn't fully guaranteed, just months after Deshaun Watson got his. And the NFL's, this is always what happens. The lawyers for both sides in any fight, hey, we feel pretty good. And then one finds out, you were wrong. The other one finds out you were right. We'll find out. But that hasn't been covered much. We've had a few items about it. Nobody's talking much about it. But that could kind of shift the balance a little bit if the arbitrator, who's independent, hired by the league and the union, not the secret rigged kangaroo court of Roger Goodell, but a true outsider who can come in and look at the evidence. Hopefully that person applies common sense here. Oh, there's no smoking gun. Well, the smoking gun, there is no smoking gun. It's been a simmering cannon for 50 years.
Oh, is that information going to be available to the public? That's what I want to know. Is that all available?
We'll get the ruling. We'll get the ruling. I think we'll get the ruling, but we won't get details. We won't get testimony. I think they'll be very careful about that, but we'll at least know what the ruling is.
Yeah, see, that's the good stuff. Mike, it was more than a few years ago now. Probably, was it 10 years ago? With the whole Deflategate, Tom Brady versus the NFL, and the whole meeting in New York, a summer meeting in New York at Goodell's office. When that transcript came out, it was like 8 hours of testimony. I was eating it up. I remember my kids, I was like, oh, yeah, I'm a bad dad. My kids were taking tennis lessons then. And so they're at tennis lessons, and I'm just there kind of highlighting the transcript. Hey, Dad, you see that shot? Yeah, good job, buddy. Good job. That was awesome. Going back, because it was fascinating, all the inside information that you get from these cases, and that's why they usually want to settle. They don't want losers like me just going through with a fine-tooth comb trying to get nuggets out of their dispute.
Hi, it's Mike Florio. Thanks for watching PFT on YouTube. Hit subscribe for the latest news and analysis from Pro Football Talk.